So, hello everyone. Welcome to the podcast. This is Sales as Usual. We are your friendly neighborhood struggling SDRs, and our goal is to make fellow struggling SDRs feel that they're not alone in this crazy but awesome journey. But yeah, my name's Jasper.
Hi, Tim. My name is Manny. Yeah, I think we just came up with this idea, just noticing that there's a lot of sales coaching podcasts out there, but are they actually hosted by SDRs, like
Yeah.
performing SDRs? So yeah, I think that's pretty much the idea that we got right here. And then yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
this podcast is going to be a little bit different because, we are not sales coaches, but we'll probably give you tips of what worked for us. But generally, it's going to be just us ranting about random experiences and what we kind of did to combat them.
yeah. So
Yeah.
this is Isaac, Isaac Cruz. Just budging in there. Bro, we should keep that, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
But yeah, just piggybacking off of Jasper and Manny are saying, the reason why we doing this podcast is just to like share our views and our perspectives and our daily struggles of what we're going through, what is working for us, what is not working for us, and yeah, just looking forward to sharing more stuff with you guys.
Awesome. It's so good to have you guys here, huh? We're kind of thinking of doing this podcast for quite some time now, but finally got the time to do it.
Yeah,
Are you guys done with your cold calls already? I'm not done yet.
nah.
I
I
got more
briefly
to go.
started, to be honest.
Man, how about you,
Yeah.
Manny?
Yeah. I was actually, with a mindset to set a meeting before jumping into this, but
Did you?
man, nobody's picking up. But yeah,
Same, bro. Man. The
you know
slow
how it
start of the
goes.
month.
You know how it goes. But that's how we
Awesome,
do
yeah.
it.
So yeah, you heard about what the podcast is going to be. So I guess we're just going to share a little bit of our experiences about why we wanted to start the podcast. So how about you, Manny? Why did you want to start this podcast?
So, like I said at the beginning, I think the main reason for this, it was the fact that there's a lot of podcasts out there, like I mentioned, of former SDRs, right? People who are sales
Yeah.
leaders now, people who are managing teams. But and there's been a while, it's been a while that since they actually were an SDR, were SDRs, and right now. I thought it was just, a great idea to host a podcast as SDRs ourselves and actually, try to give tips and our experiences to all the SDRs out there struggling. So that's pretty much the reason why we started this, huh?
Right. How about you, Isaac?
Yeah. Same as well. Just it is true. It is Manny saying that there is a lot of like um, influencers or like leadership podcasts,
Yeah.
but I haven't came across of a podcast with just SDRs. So
Yeah.
I just thought it would be interesting and it would be helpful to other SDRs that are new in the industry. And even if they're senior as well, we could always all learn from each other. So I just thought it would be cool.
Yeah, I know it's the same for me because I've been like browsing through LinkedIn and I saw all these like coaching stuff about like, hey, this is what you should do. You do this
Yeah.
cold call opener or something like that. But you know what? It makes me feel good if I like see posts from like actual SDRs about their struggles, like, hey, oh man, I'm not reaching quota, something like that. And it's just
Yeah,
relatable for me, right? So I think
yeah.
it's a pretty cool idea to just have a podcast to maybe
That's
talk
actually
about
why I
that.
love what you do in your LinkedIn, like having an
Yeah.
SDR posting the day-to-day struggles, and not only the day-to-day, monthly, weekly. And it's funny that you mentioned that you just said that you see a lot of posts of people actually, hey, you should do this in your call calls, or you should this in your call emails. And these sales leaders, sales managers, man, are actually the ones to hang up on you the
Yes.
first time to
Yeah.
get them on the
Yeah.
phone. Like it's funny,
Right.
man. They don't live by what they preach, but I guess we're trying to like get these people
Yeah.
to actually feel what we've been doing, or what we put into work every day,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like everybody gets cold calls like that. Like whenever someone picks up and they say, "Why are you calling me? I don't like cold calls." But they manage
Exactly.
a team that does cold calls. Like, oh man, I don't get it. But yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does happen. It does
It,
happen.
it's true because like once you see a post from an SDR like or an AE or anybody in sales, like it kind of does motivate you and it shows you
Yeah, that's true.
like we're all in the same level field. It happens to me as well. But
Yeah.
that's why I feel like this will be pretty cool because it's a a podcast and we could actually just share our experiences and we could actually connect at a deeper level.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. You know, I think the timing is actually pretty cool because all three of us agreed to do this podcast, right? And we have like different experiences. Like I
Hmm.
think Manny is the one that has been in the SDR field for quite some time already, and next is
Yeah.
Isaac, and I'm pretty new, so
Yeah.
it's cool to have like different perspectives on
Yeah.
the SDR life. Yeah.
So, starting fresh start as an SDR, I was in a full sales cycle. I remember it was from making the first call contact to actually having people sign contracts and
Oh, really?
put
Like an
down their,
AE?
yeah, to put down the credit cards and everything. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. I actually in this company, it was a newspaper. It was a newspaper in Houston, so it was directed for the Hispanic community, right? And
Oh, okay.
I think that's when I realized that I had a skill, because we're not gonna lie, I don't think there's an SDR out there that's gonna say, "Hey, I love cold calling." That's BS, man. Nobody loves cold calling, but there's some people that just happen to be really good at it. Really good at talking to people,
Yeah.
really extroverted people, and I think that's the way it works. When you find out that you're good at talking to people, and you can actually make your skills grow in that specific, yeah, line. I guess.
Right. So that was, you mentioned that was a newspaper like field, right? Why do you want to like start a sales career in a SaaS like industry?
Man, the moment I realized I was good at talking to people, I just decided to continue doing the same thing. So we are wanted out there. People's looking for SDRs every day. Every company
Yeah,
is
it's true.
always trying to build an SDR team. The thing is that they get a lot of people that don't have the experience, and it's like a long-term relationship with your employee, because you need to have this person trained, find out their abilities, their skills. And I think it's a work in progress every time the company decides to start an SDR team, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's so true. I feel like the SDRs, like whenever like the company will always need SDRs because like as long as you send, even if you send automated messages, people will still want that human touch. Like that's why
Yeah.
there's even like chat boxes and like these websites, even if they have
Mhm.
automated messages, just that human interaction and just to be able to share, some experiences or just to help each other out. So that's why I feel like SDR, it's a lifestyle if you think about it.
Yeah, that's true. How did you find out about like SDRs though, Isaac? Like, did you like really want to go into sales career upon graduating, or were you in a different industry before becoming an SDR?
Yeah, actually, I've always loved sales. I've always been intrigued with business and sales because I feel like sales, it is a lifestyle because like I feel like once you interact with someone or step out your house, you're like automatically setting yourself,
Yeah.
by the way you dress, the way you communicate with people, the way you treat people.
Right.
So yeah, so that's why I always found it intriguing and it's all around us. So yeah.
As for me, guys, what made me like get interested in becoming SDRs? There was this trend in TikTok. You guys do TikTok?
Yeah, I did TikTok in quarantine. I'm not gonna lie, and
Yeah.
I did really good TikToks. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
really?
I'm not bragging, bro, but yeah, it was
Oh, we
good,
got
man.
we
I
got to
just
give you a
didn't.
follow then.
Got some views.
I just didn't have the support, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was scrolling through TikTok and there was a trend about like SDRs. Like there was posts like, you want to make money, you want to become rich, become an
Wow, I didn't
SDR,
even know
like
that.
stuff like that. Do you guys see that? Oh
No, I didn't even
man.
know.
I
That's
mean, I'm not
crazy.
rich though. I'm not I'm not rich,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's really what got me
but
into to trying to become an SDR. And I say, oh, I like speaking with different people. Why not try out this career? So here I am. But yeah, so about since I mentioned about a while ago that we had like different career paths or different times when we started becoming an SDR. Do you guys have any tips for new SDRs? I've seen a lot of like new companies hiring in preparation for Q4. So do you guys have any tips for incoming SDRs?
Oh man, I think the best tip that a new SDR can get is patience. Being patient and not being afraid to call. We
Yeah.
always say this in
Yeah.
sales, and I think it's really cliche and everything, but the worst thing that can happen is that they say no. Just pick up the phone, and sometimes you get that mindset. Even experienced BDRs, you're just sitting down, with a call list, and you say, "Hey, man, I don't want to call this person. Maybe she's gonna treat me bad." But that's the worst that can happen is that the person says no, or even not pick up the phone or whatever. But make the call. It's about patience, and actually, if you're not sure about how you should talk or your talk track, only calling, that's the only way you're gonna get good at it. If you don't
Yeah.
call, if you just do role plays, you're never gonna feel like in confidence to actually do this call and talk to this person and try to get results out of it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's so true. I feel like the if I was to give like a tip or an advice to any new SDRs out there, I would say just feel like don't feel afraid to make a mistake, because
Yeah.
when I first started, I was like, man, like I want to make sure I convert every customer, every prospect I speak to, and you feel like like you can conquer the world and stuff, but it's like it's the constant game of no's. You're gonna hear a lot
Yeah.
more no's than yes. So once you break down that barrier of like not being afraid of being told no, and you're gonna make mistakes regardless, but you get better at them, and yeah, you're gonna evolve from there.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And as for me, I mentioned earlier that one of the reasons why I wanted to become an SDR is because I noticed that I like speaking with different people, but I think that's not enough when you're an SDR. Because even if you're good in speaking, right, I think the best ability that you can have is to be a good listener. Because again, sales is not really about you, right? I mean, you can pitch all day or you want, but if your prospect is not interested or it's not valuable for them, then it doesn't make sense, right? To move forward. So I think it's really important in sales to really listen to what your like prospects need to, have a better conversation rather than just pitching or pitch slapping, like what other SDRs say. And I guess another tip is also, since sales is hard, I think you should really believe in your product, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
honestly
that's
believe it's
definitely
gonna be
true.
hard to sell something that you don't really believe in. So if you're getting into sales, well, I mean, there are a lot of amazing platforms out there, but before you get into something, you have to really like do research, right? So you know how you're gonna be able to sell that product to prospects when you get the chance. Yeah.
Yeah. And you hit it right on the head when you mentioned about actually being an active listener. That's one of the most important
Yeah.
things when you're an SDR. Sometimes one of the things that happens to me is that you get a lot of, people's not picking up the phone, or you get a lot of no's. So you're actually waiting for people not to pick up the phone. And when they do, they catch you completely off guard. Like you don't
Yeah,
know what to say. You just,
Yeah.
so you gotta be always ready for
Yeah.
somebody to pick up, and also not only focus on what you have to pitch, but actually listening once you ask a question. I think that's really, really important. And believing in your product, of course. I mean, that's
yeah,
one of the things that you have to really be into in order to sound convincing, and to sound that you know what you're doing. That's
Right.
one of the most important things in sales too.
Speaking of like being caught off guard, do you guys like have crazy experiences with your prospects that you can't forget until now?
Something happened
yeah.
recently, actually. It happened like just last week, and we were listening to this call, right, in my team huddle. And so this guy called me back, and I was in the bathroom. So I had the phone, so I jogged to my office, like, okay, I need to pick up this phone. I lost the call, right? I missed it. So I call back. The guy goes and says, hey man, I have like 5 missed calls from this number. I thought about giving a call back. And I said, yeah, man, I was hunting you down. I said, but the whole call, I sounded like it was in a rush, because I ended up booking the guy, but
Wow.
I sounded like I
Oh.
wanted to book him really bad because I was just standing up, like
Yeah.
half naked, and I'm talking to the guy, right? So I wanna, I did my job. I did my thing. I booked him, but in the call you can actually hear me, like a little bit desperate of booking this guy, but it worked. So
Good for you, man.
yeah, that's good.
That's a crazy experience.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't had no like crazy experience like that, but I would say the craziest was one of my former employers. We were actually, you know how sometimes prospects use US numbers, but they're actually located in like in another part of the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
calling that prospect, right? And then I was like, I'm kind of new to SDRing, and then I'm calling, and then they're like, hello. And then I'm like, hey, I do my pitch and stuff. And they're like, don't you realize it's 2 a.m. here? I'm like, I didn't even know what to say. I'm like, man, I feel so bad. And then he just started ranting off. And then so he eventually hung up. But yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. But I would say that was
That
like the
happens.
craziest thing. Yeah.
I
Oh,
think we
man.
all got some of that. The thing I have
Yeah.
gotten that too, like called in a really weird schedule because I didn't realize or I didn't notice, and they using like American numbers, so
Yeah. Yeah.
you tend to make the mistake. So I usually go, and maybe this could be a useful tip. I usually go, hey man, I'm sorry, I thought you were working American schedule, and I've used it a couple of times before. I think Jasper has used that too.
Yeah, I try
And
using that
people
too.
people just are like, oh no, man, I'm not working American schedule. I'm sorry, and just maybe some. I mean, I've even had people that continued the conversation at like really late in the evening. So yeah, I think something that might be useful right there.
Yeah, I think it's called. I think there's a term like the people use over there. I think it's calling the elephants in the room. So sometimes like when you make the
Yeah,
cold caller, right, and you don't notice the time, I think it makes sense to rather just go ahead with your pitch. You just like call it out, man. And I'm
yeah, it's all
sorry,
right.
I realize it's already like 7 p.m. over there. Just maybe still a good time to chat. So I think that works so far for me. So you guys
Yeah.
should probably
I feel like
try that out.
if you call it out, it kind of relieves a little bit of the pressure.
Yeah,
They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, okay, at least they're aware and stuff like that.
it
Right.
does.
And speaking of like calling the elephant in the room, I guess that's like one of the most memorable things that happened to me too. My first call when I started as an SDR, I said, "Hey, I strung out the generic like opening permission based opener, right? Hey, bro, did I catch you at a bad time?" And I said, "No, it's not a good time, but okay, you have a minute." Then I'm like, what? A minute? I'm like, oh man, I
All
can't
the
do this. I was like,
pressure.
and given that's my first call, right? And then he said that, but I remembered our manager said that no, it's okay to like use the new guy card. So I said, you know what, a
Yeah, it
minute? I don't
works.
think I can do that. I'm a pretty new SDR, so do you think we could like extend to a minute? To tell you the reason why I'm calling. But yeah, I guess it works though. But I think that's where your personality goes. I think if you're like very
Right.
straightforward on your calls, I think it's pretty hard to like create a conversation. But if you let your personality really
Right,
shine
right,
through the calls, it's gonna be more natural sounding, in my
right.
opinion.
True, true. If you think about it, a minute, that's a good amount of time
Yeah,
to do a
actually pretty
pitch.
good, right? But
Yeah,
when you're in that position, I'm like, oh shit, what am I gonna say?
yeah, especially if you're new too. So you're like,
Yeah. So I think it's safe to say that this was pretty much about what the first episode was going to be.
Yeah.
So we started off by giving a little bit of our experiences and a little bit maybe some tips that you guys can use. But for the coming episodes, I think we're gonna have like subject setups,
Yep.
to board. So yeah, I hope you guys actually enjoyed this few minutes conversation, and I hope you can find useful things as well here.
Again,
yes,
this
sir.
is sales as usual. And if you guys have like specific topics that you'd like us to talk about in the next episode, do let us know. And yeah, we'll see you in the next episode then.
See you guys.
Ciao, ciao.
Hi, Tim.